For math this morning, we're going to start with our number string problems. So I want to remind you that when we write a number string, we write the problem down in a row and we match up our addends so that we can see the patterns that are occurring. What strategies could you use to solve this problem? All right, here we go. Let's see the next one. Oh, that surprised me. Oh, I'm dying to know how you guys are going to solve this one. I love all the different ways of thinking you guys are coming up with to solve these problems, and your explanations are getting so good. I love all the details. Okay, here's our next problem. Oh, look, subtract, 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 subtract. And you'll notice that this number string, when we line up our numbers, just like they do on the slideshow, everything matches so that we don't get tricked by any of those symbols. So here's our next problem. So that the ones are in the same place, the tens are in the same place, and the hundreds are in the same place. In the number 19, it does not have any hundreds. But what I'm seeing is some friends are writing their problem like, whoops. Like this. And then doing the math. And some people are even still adding. And when you don't line up your numbers in their correct place value, you definitely get the wrong answer because you have too many. The way that this is written, 147 plus 19, what this is actually saying is 147 plus 190. The way it is written is telling me that this bottom number is 190, not 19. And the number is 19. So we need to be really, really careful that we are lining up our numbers in their correct place value. If I were to draw a place value chart, I could see that my numbers are in a line. It also makes it a lot easier to subtract when I don't have a 9 in the tens place and a 4 in the tens place, when I have a 10 in the tens place and a 40 in the tens place, because that just looks like that. Although that's not true because there's a 9 in the ones place over here. But I want you to get used to writing your numbers in their correct place value place. You'll see All these fabulous numbers. How are we going to solve this subtraction problem? So I believe our problem was it 122 minus 40? Okay, so 122 minus 40. All right, so I notice that I have my numbers in alignment, and I am starting with the ones place because we always start with the ones place in math. So I have 2 minus 0. Well, if I have 2 and I'm not taking anything away, and that's what 0 tells me, then the answer is 2. Now, I go to my tens place, and this is a 20, and this is a 40. But third graders, I cannot switch the numbers around. If the 40 is on the bottom, it has to stay on the bottom. If the 20 is on the top, it has to stay on the top. Now, this is what Fatima was talking about when she said she had to take one away. So in math, they call it borrowing, they call it regrouping. Ms. Walker calls it stealing. Here's why. Because we're not giving it back. We're going to go over to the hundreds place and we're going to steal 100. Now there was only 100 in the hundreds place, so that leaves us with 0. But then I put this 100 over here. Now there's 2 ways I can write it. I can change my number like this, or I can just add that 100 next to the 2. I know that's a little complicated. I'll rewrite it over on the right side in just a minute. Now I have 120 minus 40, which is very similar to 12 minus 4. There's just an extra 0 at the end. So 120 minus 40 is 80. And that is where Fatima got that number. So I told you guys that I would write it the other way over here, just so you could see it. Everything stays the same, except sometimes people just put that 100 next to the 2 because that helps them out. Both ways are correct ways to write it. Both ways show your thinking. Oops, forgot to go back. And both ways show that you know that you have to take away from the 100. Our Math Congress is going to be about this chart that we finished filling out last week. And I just want to hear how you guys solved it. I want to know, what are some math strategies you use? What are some places where you got a little tripped up? How did you get help? We're just going to be talking and sharing about the work that we did with our chart.